Gary McKee was working at a middle of the road station. Gary heard that I'd been promoted and was going to Atlanta. He called me up. I didn't have any idea who he was. He came over to see me that day, sold me and sold me and sold me. It was almost embarrassing. I brought him down, and he just hit the ground running. It was as if he had been unplugged.
Sockatoo 79, WQXI, Sockatoo Summer.
Flex them, flex your pecs.
Like that?
Yeah.
Flex my what?
Pecs, pectorals.
Wait a minute.
Those are your tatas.
Let me, all right. Well, yeah, all right.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Gary McKee Morning Show presents strongman Willis Caswell as he rips an Atlanta phone book in half.
Okay, let me get a good grip here now.
Okay, all right.
There's page one.
After Dr. Don Rose left QXI, QXI went through so many morning jocks, like every 3 to 6 months. It was crazy until you got Gary.
And what he did on the radio was, I think, pretty landmark. He turned it actually into a cinematic production where, there was a cast of characters and half of them were little fake things, but it was just freaking funny.
Can I have a little fanfare, please? All right, now, what you gonna do today?
Well, I ain't looking forward to it too much. It's gonna be probably a bad day. I got to put my truck in the shop.
Why is that?
Ashtrays is all filled up.
He saw something in me, and I think it had to do with my theatrical background, because I also have a degree in theater. And I think that because I was accustomed to improvisation, and I was accustomed to being in a comedy ensemble from my theater work, that he was able to sort of put his finger on that.
I remember the day he said, we're looking for people to do station ID. And so I picked up the phone and called, and my heart was racing, like as you can imagine. And Gary answered, and I did the station ID.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tommy Sullivan and the ID.
By Atlanta, WQXI FM, Smyrna, Atlanta.
It was so good.
He knew how to talk to the listener one-on-one. How are you doing today? Not, hello, everybody.
He said, let me tell you this. He said, if you do stuff that everybody in the car can listen to, you'll have everybody in the car. And I never forgot that.
And I think we just hum along and give him a good hum on his birthday. Okay? Okay, guys. Happy birthday, dear husband. How about that?
He would call and say, "Hey, boss, I don't have any ideas for tomorrow. What can we do tomorrow?" And he would grab the weirdest idea. He did a bit called the concept was everybody woke up and the Stone Mountain was missing. He set it up so that people called in and were calling in and they couldn't see it.
And he perpetuated the myth that when they were digging for the tunnels for Marta, that gold was discovered.
You're riding into work, and he says over the intro, "Hey, did you turn the coffee pot off?" You're going to think about that all day.
My wife, the four of us used to watch The Muppet Show together. I said, "McKee, why the hell are we watching The Muppet Show?" He'd say, "Woodside, absurdity is the root of all comedy."
This guy could have 6 cart machines loaded with drop-ins, sound effects, bumpers, or whatever. He would have a little Ampex on the side of the board rolling at half speed, recording the birthday monster.
Squixie and 94Q to Gary McKee Morning Show and 54 degrees. Let's do the birthday show.
All right.
And whip the names here, Bird Dog Caswell.
Jerry Buckner, 37 years old today, and sorry about that.
Yes, Jesus.
Peggy Pear, 21.
That's a great name.
Yeah, ain't it?
Birthday monster. Come on, bring him out here. Happy birthday, monster. Oh, we love that.
It's not about outdoing one another or stealing focus. It's about giving focus and sharing the spotlight. And that's what we were able to do.
I remember when Kevin O'Connell was a production director at 94Q in Quixie, he said, "Well, Gary is the morning guy here, and he's very particular. He'll give you a free time if it messes up and it's traced back to your responsibility. And then after that, you won't be here." And I said, "Really?" And he said, "Wish I was kidding, but I'm not."
I had 2 minutes to do my sports commentary had 3 spots in the morning, 2 minutes each, and was told, you have 2 minutes. You don't take longer. Now, occasionally there might have been a lot of sports news, or I might have really wanted to make a point and say, hey, can I have 5 extra seconds? And sometimes he would say no. And one day I didn't ask for the extra time and I ran 2:03. And he got on that intercom and carved me a new one, man. Gary, it was 3 seconds. And it comes back on the intercom and he goes, do you watch The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson? I said, yeah, of course. And he said, do you think that Monica Kaufman ever runs over on the 11 o'clock news on Channel 2 just because she needed an extra 3 seconds? Oh, we'll get to Carson late. He was explaining to me how it's supposed to work.
The pit bull analogy, it works because he could bite your head off, but he could also curl up next to you if you had a problem and talk you through it.
I want to do that again. I hate to do that. Needle skips, you see, when I'm sitting in here reading the traffic and I don't hit it right. Hold on.
We always had to call and wake Gary up at 5 o'clock. We had to wake Gary up. And so then he would get in there about 5:20 because he lived close, and he would get out his vacuum he kept in the 94Q control room, and he would vacuum the entire studio because he loved it, that it had to be, spotless for him.
And that squeaky, squealy, hissy sound you heard during the final portion of our newscast was not the fault of WQXI. It was the fault of your radio. Please get that fixed.
Jerry protected McKee because he knew the brand was Gary McKee. The call letters were classic, and yet Gary was the draw.
Gary, I was wondering, what is your idea of a perfect date?
Of a perfect date?
Yeah.
A millionairess nymphomaniac who owns a liquor store.
Gary was responsible for $18 million a year in revenue and stuff, and he knew it too, and he was very particular about his stuff. He ran it like an $18 million business.
They were getting $850 for fixed time spots in the Gary McKee morning show in $1985. And at the very end, it was 14 minutes in the morning show, I think. But let's just call it 12 minutes at $600. That's $7,200 an hour.
Gary McKee was also the first disc jockey to sign a contract for $1 million. It was 3 years for $1 million, but it was 3 years for $1 million. He got a large amount of money to do an endorsement, or just to do a commercial, and his appearances. He got a lot of money for that.
They know me at Applebee's, even though I'm not a famous radio DJ. Right, McKee? That's right. Mike, I think.
We're out of time, McKee.
He was very good about keeping his money. He was not exorbitant or anything like that. He saved a lot of money.
QXI 94Q sponsored the Ramblin' Raft race. That was, I think, at one time regarded as the largest outdoor participatory event in the Guinness Book of World Records. And we'd broadcast live, we'd MC stuff and everything. That was hands on deck, everybody there. And of course, McKee was the big star of the show there.
The one thing about Gary that was kind of surprising to me is that people outside Atlanta and Georgia didn't know about him. He really didn't give a rat's ass if anybody knew that he was great. He didn't want to be anywhere else. He probably had many job offers to go other places, but he loved Atlanta.
You could see people to this day repeating bits and drops and audio excerpts. I mean, verbatim.
This is fun. And to us, we thought this was going to go on forever, which, of course, did not.
The last time Gary and I talked, he lost his words while talking to me. And that broke my heart. I got off and cried.
If you don't mind, I could read a quote that I pulled off Gary's Facebook page. And this was from 2011. Something had happened in which he received a lot of accolades from the public. And he says, I've read all your posts and am really humbled by all the fuss. You should know it was more inspirational, more delightful, more as much fun for us, Willis, Yetta, Kinky Lady, Bobach, Red Neckerson, et al. It was a deep pleasure, nay, a privilege, to be a part of y'all's lives as you were of ours. Don't forget. And then he says, now y'all stop jerking off and get back to freaking work. Ha.